So you're voting for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, but yet you claim to be fighting the injustice and inequality that goes on in the minority communities of blacks, browns, and so forth. I'm gonna make this video short because I know a lot of people don't have a long attention spans, but let's get into some facts, some evidence, because the Democrats expose themselves. So let's go to the Democrats' words about these two people, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Well, first off, Kamala Harris called Joe Biden racist. Well, she said, I don't believe you're racist, but you supported some racist stuff.
I do not believe you are a racist. And I agree with you when you commit yourself to the importance of finding common ground. But I also believe, and it's personal, and I was actually it was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of two United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country. And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing.
So, was she lying? Or was she telling the truth? Either she was lying about him being a racist, or she was telling the truth. After the comments, he said that if you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Kamala Harris, she served as the head DA in San Francisco. She says she's proud of her record. Well, Tulsi Gabbard, who I felt like, why didn't you choose her? See, the good candidates that they do have, they don't put them out front. They actually kill their own, eat their own. And they put the worst ones up front. I don't know why they do this. She destroyed Kamala Harris, calling out her phoniness on how she actually locked up more blacks than any other DA.
I want to bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
See, these two are so fake and phony, even by their own fellow Democrat standards. So why are you voting for them again? Because you don't like the way Trump talks? What about these two clowns? Look at what they did to the black community. See, Satan can smile and make his lies and poison look real good. But see, you'd rather have that than to have somebody give you some hard, rash truth. So, all you Christians out there supporting the Democratic Party, claiming to be Christians, the fact that you're even standing on a platform that is for homosexuality, abortion, and the canceling of God and removing God from their platform. And then on top of this, the racial, social, identity politics that they're playing, they are the worst ones. Joe Biden wrote the 94 crime bill.
That 1994 crime bill, it it did contribute to mass incarceration in our country. It encouraged and was the first time that we had a federal three strikes law. It funded the building of more prisons in the states.
Kamala Harris locked up at a disproportionate rate blacks, nonviolent blacks, even blocking evidence that will exonerate wrongfully convicted felons that were serving lifelong sentences. And when it comes to immigration policies, don't expect Joe Biden and Kamala to do anything about it. For even CNN admits that the first 2 years of the Obama-Biden administration, that Obama, who earned the title deporter-in-chief, deported more immigrants than Trump did in his first 2 years.
In the first 2 years of the Obama administration, nearly 800,000 immigrants were deported, far more than during President Trump's first 2 years. Would the higher deportation rates resume if you're president?
Absolutely not, number one. Number two, everything landed on the president's desperate locus. I found that the secretary, we sat together in many meetings. I never heard him talk about any of this when he was the secretary.
Please be respectful. Please be respectful in the crowd. Please continue, Mr. Vice President.
The fact is,
Vice President Biden, I didn't hear your response when the issue came up of all those deportations. You were Vice President of the United States. I didn't hear whether you tried to stop them or not, using your power, your influence in the White House. Did you think it was a good idea, or do you think it was something that needed to be stopped?
the president came along, and he's the guy that came up with the idea, first time ever, of dealing with the Dreamers. He put that in the law. He talked about a comprehensive plan, which he laid before the Congress, saying that we should find a pathway to citizenship for people. He said we should up the number of people that we're able to bring into this country. Lastly, he also pointed out that we should go to the source of the problem and fix it where people were leaving in the first place. So he did. To compare him to Donald Trump, I think, is absolutely bizarre.
But I don't hear an answer from the Vice President. I'm confused. I asked the Vice President point blank, did he use his power to stop those deportations? He went right around the question. Mr. Vice President, you want to be President of the United States, you need to be able to answer the tough questions. I guarantee you, if you're debating Donald Trump, he's not going to let you off the hook. So did you say those deportations were a good idea? Or did you go to the president and say, this is a mistake, we shouldn't do it? Which one?
I was vice president. I am not the president. I keep my recommendations to him in private. Unlike you, I expect you would go ahead and say whatever was said privately with him. That's not what I do. What I do say to you is he moved to fundamentally change the system. That's what he did. That's what he did. But much more has to be done. Much more has to be done.
I still don't hear an answer.
And on top of that, we need to be very wary of people who just can't give a simple answer, always dodging questions. Like when both Joe Biden and Kamala, make sure you say that right and proper, because, you know, she wants to be extra black. So you have to be Kamala. When they was asked whether they're going to pack the court if Judge Amy Barrett gets in the position, they couldn't give a simple yes or no. Let's turn to scripture on this. In Matthew 5:33, it says this, again ye have heard that it has been said by them of old, thou shalt not forswear thyself, but shall perform unto the Lord thy oaths. But I say unto you, swear not at all, neither by heaven, for it is God's throne, neither by the earth, for it is his footstool, neither by Jerusalem, for it is his city of the king. Neither shall thou swear by thy head, because thou canst not make one hair white or black. Listen up. But let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay. For whatsoever is more than these cometh evil. So the Bible makes it very clear that if someone can give you a simple yes or no answer, that the only thing that cometh after that is evil. And this is who you voting for? But yet you're a Christian and you have spiritual discernment, huh?